I'm pleased to be joined on Pioneers Pregame Live by Pioneers assistant coach Eugene Barber, ahead of the Pioneers' home matchup this evening versus the Geneva Red Wings. Coach, getting things started right away. You guys 4-0 against Geneva this season. What's attributed to the team's overall success versus a very veteran lineup?
One of the biggest things is just our guys being unapologetically themselves, just authentically bringing their own play styles to the field and just coming out and showing growth within their play styles, and ultimately, it's leading to a lot of success on the field, and I love to see it from the boys.
In yesterday's conversation with Coach Drum, he alluded to you guys collectively swinging the bats well despite the double-digit defeat in Auburn on Wednesday. 2 runs, though, across your last 14 innings of game action. What needs to change and or remain the same in terms of plate approach this evening?
We just got to continue to show that same discipline at the plate. We're catching a lot of barrels. We're getting into good hitter counts. It's just, things aren't falling our way right now. And it kind of happened to us last night. We were supposed to play Newark, and unfortunately weren't able to get out there and play. And, but we're back at it tonight, and, we're going to go out there and get a win.
Yeah, take me through a little bit of that outing last night. You drive up 2 hours to Newark, you come back, the bus ride. Just how vital was that for a team's growth and camaraderie, just getting to spend a lot of quality time around one another?
Well, just the growth from a personable aspect of just the guys getting to know each other. We got guys from all different parts of over the country and, different schools, just, spending that time, that quality time with each other. A few guys went down and got some food at a local restaurant in Newark while we were sitting there waiting. And just kind of those moments, that you make throughout these 2 months, just really brings a unit together. And it's good to see the guys just enjoying each other's company, because you don't always get that. And ultimately that leads to, players being happy for other success. And, that's really what a team, thrives on.
You mentioned guys coming together, a new addition to the lineup in Brett Baker this week. What kind of spark can Brett provide when he's in the lineup for you guys going forward?
Brett coming from UMass Dartmouth, he's a dog, a good athletic kid, good bat-to-ball skills, and is definitely going to really help solidify our outfield. Just the more athletes, the more dogs, the more, camaraderie, especially because, played with Jacob as well. It just all adds up to the collective of, us being successful out on the field. And the next thing we have to do as a team is we just got to focus on the task at hand. There's a lot of, history that we've accomplished in the past 2 seasons here, going back to back. And we just got to focus on the goal, getting back to the mountaintop and finally toppling the Amsterdam or whoever comes out of the East.
3 Pioneers out of Barry University now, 2 from UMass Dartmouth. How important is that for a summer team to have a lot of guys in which have a lot of familiarity from their collegiate baseball seasons with one another?
On that one, I would say the biggest thing is just having a preset culture. If you get too much from all over the place, sometimes it doesn't mesh as well. But, this year, this locker room, the dugout, the team itself, it's just been truly a melting pot of, different personalities. And again, we just get kind of a preset, with guys coming from a school, that they're familiar with. They're familiar with those guys. And, it just really helps to kind of spread throughout the rest of the clubhouse, the energy. The other guys thrive off of it.
You mentioned the 2 words, preset and culture. I'll combine them both. What is the preset culture of the Elmira Pioneers in 2025?
So I would say the biggest thing is just letting guys be the best version of themselves. Each guy has a different personality, different play style. We want to enhance that. We want to take that and get it up to the next level so that way they can go back and be just as, if not more productive at their college program.
You mentioned that very loose kind of playing right now. The guys feeling good, but how much of a must-win game does it feel tonight? You're going up against a Geneva team that's won 3 in a row. You guys have lost 2 in a row with 2 good opponents on the horizon in Batavia and Niagara Falls.
I'll say this, it's, no disrespect to the team across the field, but you have to beat the teams that you're supposed to and just make sure that they stay in their place. As bad as that may sound, you need to hop on them early, stay on them, and ultimately go for that, that knockout punch early in the game.
Brendan Hayes gets his 2nd consecutive start at home against the Geneva Red Wings. What was working so well for Brendan last time out, and how can he replicate it this evening?
I just felt like pregame, I felt like he had a purpose to go out there and, just focus on what he needed to focus on, getting ahead early, attacking hitters, having a good sequence. I think that's something that's very undersold, is having a good sequence out there, whether if you're a pitcher, or as a hitter, being able to combat that sequence and get it into account where you can be successful.
I want to talk a little bit about the bullpen and specifically Southpaw Michael Cobb, who was really good at Auburn on Wednesday. What did you like that you saw from Mike in comparison to maybe some of his his earlier outings earlier on this season?
There's just kind of a different aura around the kid that night. The intensity coming out of the pen, and even after the first half inning, he just had a real fire lit under him, and that's something that could possibly carry him through the second half of the season, really help out our bullpen.
I want to go back a little bit to last night's game. You saw it, or last night's non-game, but the trip up to Newark, bit of a crazy night. You guys are playing some football out there, a little two-man touch action. Just quick question, who would you draft to your fantasy football team if you had to take an Elmira Pioneer first overall?
Can I take a coach?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm taking Brian Joe, man. He's got an absolute cannon. All right, I'm taking him, or we put him out there in a little option action. I'm taking Brian Joe because he could truck somebody. He's got good speed, good footwork, and again, just an absolute cannon. Second, if I had to take a player, I'm taking Grabs because he just grabs everything, and he also throws the ball really well.
I was going to say, we saw Grabs moving around in the QB position last night. He had some pretty good pocket awareness, right?
I know, right? We might have to start ourselves up a little 7-on-7, here in the fall, try to keep some guys back here for the fall.
Well, Coach, look forward to it, and thanks. Best of luck tonight.
Appreciate it.